Well, hello, good evening to you. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We are live on news up here at Tadesawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, bombshell as a former Northern Regional Chair of the New Patriotic Party, Bugri Nabu, validates the content of a leaked tape regarding an alleged plot to oust the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare. What more is there for the committee probing the matter to do? We find out from a member of the committee. He joins us later tonight. Stay with us. Also, the men have been separated from the boys in the just ended New Patriotic Party Superdelegates Conference. But that wasn't without a few incidents causing the party to haul before the disciplinary committee some individuals, including flag bearer hopeful Kennedy Japan. There are some matters arising in there. Stay with us. We're getting to it. Also, here on Ghana Tonight, police in the northern region have arrested 13 persons and 6 have sustained various degrees of injury and gunshot wounds following an alleged attack on the Tamale District Court. We have the inside story of what happened earlier today. As always, let's hear from you. Very, very interactive here on Ghana Tonight. One of the things we're going to be doing tonight as well is an exclusive interview with Francis Adainimo, one of the 2 persons who polled 9 votes at the end of that Superdelegates Conference over the weekend. Reason why the party would have to go back next Saturday if they don't reach any agreement between him and the other who had 9 votes. Francis Adainimo is going to be joining us on Ghana Tonight. Stay with us. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bugri Nabu, has validated the content of a leaked audio regarding an alleged plot to oust the IGP, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare. The audio tape is the subject of an ongoing bipartisan parliamentary probe.
Since I cannot keep everything they were talking to me at that point, it was very, very good to record them so that I know the president, if I tell him something, he will follow up with the truth. Next time he will not give me respect. So the best thing was to ensure that when I tell him, he asked me, "Are you sure?" I said, "Well, this is the tape."
Kennedy Japan's campaign team has served notice to file a formal petition with the NPP regarding reported attacks on party agents during Saturday's Special Delegates Conference. Campaign manager and former head of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Kwame Owusu, who made this known at a news conference in Accra, further indicated that their candidate is ready to appear before the party's disciplinary committee.
Petition. It is part of the process for which the invitation has been made. So you get the opportunity to tell your side of the story or what prompted you to do what you did. So of course we will do that.
A political scientist, Professor Ransford Jampo, has questioned the New Patriotic Party over its approach in dealing with persons who allegedly breached the party regulations. According to him, the party must tread cautiously in handling disciplinary matters, adding that any unfair treatment could ruin its chances ahead of the 2024 elections.
Dragging somebody before a disciplinary committee is not tantamount to the person being guilty. I do not see how telling somebody that I'm going to give you a showdown amounts to burning a party. I don't, in my mind, I don't see how it amounts to anything. The party must be seen to be fair in handling some of these things.
2 babies have been abandoned at the Kolibu Teaching Hospital by unknown parents. Health workers at the facility say the babies will soon be handed over to the Social Welfare Department. The Northern Regional Police Command has arrested 13 people for allegedly attacking the Tamale District Court 1. Some angry residents stormed the court to witness a case involving a businessman, Karim Usman, who is alleged to be dealing in illicit drugs. A confrontation ensued between the police and a cross-section of the youth who tried to force their way into the court.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. It's a worrying development which the Ghana Police Service has issued a statement on earlier today. The police indicated they've arrested one person in connection with the killing of a 28-year-old man at Ayem in the Western region. There's a video that went viral that captured a number of persons, including this 28-year-old who has died, unfortunately, just shooting at each other. Now, the arrest took place on August 25, 2023. Now, preliminary investigation indicates that the suspect, one, Emmanuel Kwaku, together with 5 other accomplices currently on the run, was in the process of exhibiting the potency of their alleged spiritual powers. In the viral video, the suspects claim the powers were expected to protect them from bullets and knife wounds and attacks. In fact, during the process, the suspect, one Emmanuel Kwaku, shot and killed the deceased, Amu Kojo Elias Malam, with a single barrel gun loaded with an AA cartridge. We're going to show you portions of that video later as we go on here on Ghana Tonight. But the worrying concern, especially with the police service and the criminologists, is that this is not the first time that this has happened. We've seen a trend of these incidents. Take a look. Just quickly recall some precedents to this, right? Now, take a look at this. In November 2022, a man was reported to have shot himself in an attempt to test juju fortification at Dangira Agona Port. Fast forward to March 2023, same incident. 3 men shot each other to test their juju fortification, and they were arrested by the police. Now this particular incident that's happened, and today. Now, take a look at this. This is the video that we're talking about, and what the police have indicated. This one led to the death of this gentleman in question. Take a look. Well, we're unable to show that violent aspect of it for the reason of you, our viewers, and to extreme caution there. So the police have indicated that these are the 5. The 5 persons you saw on that video are on the run, and they are on a manhunt for them. This is something we're keeping tabs on because of the precedents I just showed you. But coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, the former Northern Regional Chair of the New Patriotic Party, Namong Da Bugri Nabu, has vindicated the content of the leaked audio regarding an alleged plot to oust the IGP, Dr. George Akuffo Dampare. Earlier today, he validated the content of this leaked audio. The audio tape is the subject of an ongoing bipartisan parliamentary probe. Very interesting developments in there earlier today. My colleague Duke Mensah Opoku sat through the committee's hearing earlier today, pieced through together what this committee's hearings indeed comprised of today, plus Bugri Nabu's admissions of the content of this leaked tape. Take a look.
Chief Bugri Nabu appeared before the committee in the company of two lawyers. Proceedings started with a playback of the contents of the audio. Chairman of the committee, Samuel Atachia, then questioned Chief Bugri Nabu. He admitted that indeed his voice featured on the tape.
My voice is there.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Would you be good enough to tell us the rest of the individuals that you were engaged in that conversation with?
Well, one Commander Asari.
Okay, please go slowly, yes.
Police commander.
Yes.
But I don't know which district or which region or which section he command. There was one man also later joined called Commander COP Mensah.
Okay.
That he's on leave now prior to his retirement. Yeah, he was also part of it.
Yes. So you were only three?
Then later, when the meeting were going on, I didn't see the person, it was on phone. One JP, who is also a police superintendent at the police headquarters. But I haven't seen him. He talked to me on phone, and I listened to him on phone.
He told the committee that the Commissioner of Police in question had contacted him to lobby the president to dismiss the current IGP and make him the IGP.
This one day is very difficult, but even what I was even disturbed, when somebody is on retirement, how do you want to come back and be IGP?
He admitted to tasking his assigns to carry out the recording to serve as proof in the event of the meeting with the president regarding the issue.
Since I cannot keep everything they were talking to me at that point, it was very, very good to record them so that I know the president. If I tell him something, he will follow up with all the truth. Next time he will not give me respect. You know him and I know him. So the best thing was to ensure that when I tell him, he asked me, "Are you sure?" I said, "Well, this is the tape. I don't want to miss it. You listen to it."
Chairman of the committee later told the media that 3 more persons would appear before the committee at the next sitting.
For now, I think 3 individuals will have to show up on Thursday.
So that's a touchdown there. Stay with me. We'll have a member of this committee, this 7-member committee set up by the Speaker of Parliament to investigate this leaked audio, joining us shortly. But for the uninitiated, quite shocking. This is just a portion of the details of this leaked audio we're talking about.
He's not a lawyer. He has no fair idea of the law. He has never been on the field. It was NDC that was promoting him day in, day out. When Massa was assistant superintendent of police, he was a sergeant. You were what? Sergeant. Sergeant.
I told her he didn't believe.
Sergeant. Then NDC brought you this far. Now, what he's bragging about is the fact that he will be IGP to 2030, because John Mama has promised him if he should win, may God forbid anything, if he should win, he will maintain him as IGP.
Who was there to hear this?
Oh, it is true. Wait, a meeting was held, of which he was a party to that meeting. And where he was in this NDC meeting headed by John Mama.
So this is the leaked audio with these persons. Now we know their names. Bugri Nabo mentioned their names, so these other voices, apart from him, who he confirms that he's on the tape. One Commander Sari and then COP Mensah are the names that he mentions, are the other two voices on this leaked audio, which he has confirmed that it's indeed true and authentic. Peter Tobo is a member of parliament for the Wild West constituency. He is also a former police chief, so he understands the workings of the Ghana Police Service. He's joining us on the telephone. He's also a member of this particular committee set up to investigate the details of this audio. Thank you so much, Honorable Tobo, for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Now, Bugri Nabo's admissions confirming that this tape is authentic has made the work of the committee really easy for you, is it not? Hello? Hello, Mr. Tobo, if you can hear me, I'm saying that earlier today, with the admissions by Bugri Nabo that indeed the details of this leaked audio is true, captures his voice, gives you names of these two other persons, it's made the work of the committee quite easy, is it not?
Thank you very much. Let me say good evening to our cherished listeners. In fact, when we had Bugri Nabo, or Chief Bugri Nabo in our presence today as the prime witness in this matter that we are inquiring into, all of us were hoping that the matter will not be complicated with a denial from him. Lucky enough, he listened to the audio, and after that, straight to the point, he authenticated the audio, saying that it was his voice, and everything that was said in there was actually what he himself recorded. So we're very happy that at least it has simplified the whole inquiry process for us.
I see, because that was from the terms of reference, which you're going to show our viewers shortly, that was your first task, to authenticate this audio, whether it's indeed true or otherwise. That's been done. But the other names that he mentions, the COP, Mensah and Commander Sari, how is the committee going to treat this revelation?
The committee is a bipartisan committee established by Parliament with an expert advisor. And I think that as a committee with the status of a high court, we are very democratic in our approach and we respect the rules of engagement. So basically every client or every witness will have the right to a counsel of his choice. And what we've done to Mr. Bugri Nabo will not be different from what we'll be doing to the other witnesses when they appear. It's an open forum. You listen to the tape, you make your comments, we ask you questions, you answer them to the best of your knowledge. And at the end of the day, when we are done, we analyze, draw our conclusions, and write a report, submit to Parliament. So basically that's it.
I see. So what's the end game for the committee? I mean, you have the powers of a high court. So are you going to be recommending punitive measures? And in what form will these punitive measures come after your work?
Once again, this is a parliamentary committee acting on the referral given to us by the Speaker of Parliament to authenticate the tape, look at the security implications of the tape, who are those involved, what was the real agenda, what recommendations, and ensure that we don't experience such a thing in our security environment again. So these are all the matters that we are going to conclude on. And when we submit the report to Parliament, as has always been the case, it will be late, it will be brought to plenary, and it will be debated. At the end of the day, conclusions will be drawn, and a statement from the Speaker representing Parliament will be issued for that matter. But I think that this is a matter of public knowledge, so let's all continue to follow. I think that we'll get the process through, and we'll appreciate the end of it all.
But if you listen to the details of the tape, in fact, you as a committee got the benefit of listening to the over 30 minutes long audio today, beyond the 5-10 minutes that went viral earlier. So some of the things he talked about, that George Kofodampare has not been on the field, he's not a lawyer, NDC has been promoting him, and so on and so forth. It mentions other persons' names. Even the first deputy speaker's name popped up somewhere. So these are serious issues, I mean, for you who are served in the Ghana Police Service and as a member of this committee, is it not?
Very serious ones. to the fact that somebody is sitting thinking that it doesn't matter what the people of Ghana want, that the police, very particularly the Inspector General of Police's office, can be used to shorten Ghanaians, can be used to ensure that somebody would have to win election through their means, not just the free will of the people. And if that happens to be the case, in fact, this is more than a coup d'etat. Because what we are doing, that people are going to vote, and it is not the vote that will be counted that will determine who becomes president. It is the mafia underground that will determine who becomes president. And if it is not more dirtier than coup d'etat, I don't know what it means. But let's continue to unravel the mysteries surrounding the whole tape. At the end of the day, we'll draw conclusions and we'll see what we can do as a committee to make recommendations that are far-reaching to ensure that such a thing do not repeat itself in a very fragile and young democracy. But you see, and this is going to be my final question to you. The benefit that you bring to this committee, Honorable Tobo, is that you have served at the top hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service. You know the workings at the top of this police service we're talking about. And you're a member of parliament now and a member of this committee as well that we're talking about. How should the incident, beyond investigating its authenticity and then also your recommendations, influence the mode of appointment of IGPs, which has always been a question, so that in this instance, no other police officer will think that, look, I'm going to influence someone who is close to the president so that the president who appointed the IGP can remove an IGP who is not doing, quote unquote, the bidding of the party in power? Let's not jump the gun, because recommendations are drawn from conclusions, and these conclusions are arise based on the facts that we analyze. So as we continue to gather the facts, we've not concluded yet. Let's not jump the gun. Let's allow the committee to work to its logical conclusion, and the report will be a matter of public knowledge. The Speaker is looking at any other recommendation that we think that is necessary to sanitize our security system in this country and to enhance our democratic credentials as a democratic nation. So we are very open to those ideas, but we can't just jump the gun, as I said. Let's allow the facts to speak, and we'll draw conclusions. And at the end of the day, we'll make the necessary recommendations. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you tonight. He's a member of parliament for the Wa West constituency, Peter Tobo, a former police chief, and a member of this 7-member committee set up by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana, Kingsford Bagman, Right Honourable. But Samuel Atachian, who is the chair of this committee, also indicated that they, on Thursday, would be expecting these 3 persons whose names were mentioned by Bugri Nabo to appear. Take a look.
You heard him. I don't have to pass any judgment on it because I've not heard, and we've all not heard, the full extent of the evidence. It is very important that at this point in time, we hold our horses and to have the full complement of the evidence, and then we see what to do. But what is very significant is that we wanted him to authenticate the audio, which he did, and he said he even named those who were on the audio, and that is sufficient. Thursday, those who have been named on the audio will have to come before the committee for us to also interrogate them and adduce evidence. He's released for now, unless there are residual matters that he has to come back and answer. But so far, we've released him to go. I don't have to judge the issues now, as I keep saying, because at the end of the day, you need to listen to everybody, and then we'll be able to understand the full complement of the evidence. We are supposed to, adduce the evidence, come out with what we call the findings of fact. And then we also have value judgments as well. Whether a witness was lying and looking at his demeanor and his tendencies, and whether even what he said is not an absurdity.
But earlier today, I was with the IGP, both attended a program that's the 95th birthday of the founder of the University of Professional Studies, Accra, as UPSA, Nana Dr. Mpoma. Now, in the mind of the IGP, earlier today when he delivered the speech at this venue, the 95th birthday celebrations of the UPSA founder. He said, quote, this is a speech that he delivered. My commitment is to improve on the impact of the Ghana Police Service so that the service will continue to grow beyond me as IGP. That is what good leadership is about, unquote. That's it there. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. But coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, the police in the northern region have arrested 13 persons and 6 have sustained various degrees of gunshot injuries following an alleged attack on the Tamale District Court. Let's do this briefly because this has generated some concern there in that part of the country. This alleged attack on the Tamale District Court. A number of persons have been arrested, but my colleague Christopher Mwako, who's been following this particular incident quite closely, is joining me on Zoom. Chris, what's the situation now in that area?
Yes, so Alfred, the situation has come to normal because earlier intervention by some stakeholders like traditional authorities to calm the youth down and allow the police to do their work has brought about some calm in the Tamale metropolis. But earlier, the incident actually triggered some form of confusion, not only at the court premises, but also in the greater Tamale metropolis.
I understand that some 3 persons have sustained gunshot wounds. In fact, 6 persons. The number has been updated to 6, correct? Those who have sustained gunshot wounds in the area as a result of this incident?
Yes, Alfred, correct. Because when the police were firing the warning shots, some of the residents who were running for their lives allegedly were hit by some stray bullets and had to be rushed to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. So as we speak now, the number of injured persons is 6.
I see. Now, and talk about the victims. What's happening to them now?
Yes, so they were rushed to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Medical officials at the hospital earlier around 6 p.m. told me that the victims are responding well to treatment. They are hoping that even some of them will be discharged tomorrow. That is those who sustained some minor injuries, but those who had some level of serious injuries will have to even undergo surgery.
And we understand that early on, a woman who also sustained injuries in the leg as well.
Yes, yes, Alfred, the injuries, we understand that, in fact, the first number that we got was 4, and later we were told that some 2 other persons were rushed to the hospital. When we got to the Tamale Teaching Hospital, actually, we were not given the permission to see the victims because we were told that it's a matter of security and that the media was not allowed to have access. So we could not get closer to the victims. But we are told by our sources at the Tamale Teaching Hospital that the number is now 6. And like I indicated earlier, some of them who sustained minor injuries will be likely discharged tomorrow.
I see, but just give me a brief idea of exactly what triggered this particular incident.
Okay, so in January this year, owing to the fact that the increasing rate of drug abuse is taking over amongst the youth in the greater Tamale metropolis, a group of young men in the Abu community organized themselves to form an anti-drugs committee or watchdog committee, and they had to write letters to 16 paramount chiefs within the Dagbon enclave and also the king and overlord of Dagbon, Danyana Abukari II, seeking their permission to, as it were, track all the drug peddlers or persons who trade in drugs in the metropolis. They also copied the Ghana Police Service and the Food and Drugs Authority. So they have been operating within that period. And initially, when they intercept these drugs, they hand the suspects and the drugs over to the police. Unfortunately, according to them, they had some issues with the police, so there was some trust loss along the line, and for that matter, they had to now operate on their own. So when they intercept, they burn, they take to the chief's palace, and they destroy them. So just last month, they intercepted some boxes of tramadol from this suspect, Karim Osman, and handed him over to the police. Now, because the youth have lost trust in the police, now on the 15th of this month, the suspects, together with other youth, were at the Tamale District Court, where the case was supposed to be heard. Unfortunately, a lot of the youth stormed the court premises. So today, the presiding magistrate had to adjourn sitting to today. And so the youth, knowing very well that today there could be a possible judgment, stormed the court premises in their numbers. So unfortunately, when they got there, the security was tight there, and there was this skirmishes of misunderstanding between the police and the residents, and it resulted in the firing of warning shots, which brought us where we are, where six people are currently receiving treatment.
Unfortunate that. Some good detail there. Chris, thank you so much. Christopher Marco is our North and Savannah regional correspondent. Coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, the men have been separated from the boys in the just ended New Patriotic Party Super Delegates Conference. But that wasn't without a few incidents causing the party to haul before the disciplinary committee some individuals, including flag bearer hopeful Kennedy Japan. But we have an exclusive with Francis Adainimo as well, coming up right after this quick break. He's going to be joining us in the studio. He is one of two persons who polled 9 votes. Together, that's with Boachicha Matejako. Now, there are 3 options the party is looking at, that either one of them will step down for the other, or that they would come to a truce themselves, or some sort of agreement to have one person step down. Earlier, there were reports that Boachicha had stepped down. He says that's not true. So we'll be finding out from Francis Adainimo in the studio after this quick break. Stay with us.
Gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
When you have the extra bit of ambition in your heart, you also need extra bit of energy to come through. And for that, Rush Energy is the perfect boost to get over the line. Created in the USA and proudly made in Ghana. Thanks to the unique formula, you have the power of ginseng, the benefit of vitamins and all the energy of inositol, taurine and caffeine. Anytime you need to go beyond, Rush Energy will help you get there.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chese na me ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chese na nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me modem no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho eden a watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you. Papa Roberto, hello. Hey, Oshisho what?
Okay.
A free bra would the endpoint what dance. I'm a choir no. Me Joseph Sama name Koye and pass on my main and Imagina Sabema. Now, let me be here for the one in Jarissa. You heard everything. I have secret. Endpoint is my secret. Endpoint homeopathic clinic. I'm free.
Get ready to explore the taste of healthy living with Alpha Cracker from Mugberry. This amazing cracker is rich in milk, butter, and other essential nutrients that leaves you wanting more. It's thick and crunchy, affordable and appropriate for all ages. Alpha Cracker, the new king, is in town.
All sporting disciplines matter on Warm-Up Plus.
Warm-Up Plus, the most exciting hour on TV. So join the conversation and get updated.
Get sports news, visit exciting places, and be in the know on Warm-Up Plus. Let's go, Diana.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting warmed up.
Catch me, Yao Ufusulabi.
And me, Aniela Alote.
Warm-Up Plus, new season coming soon on TV3.
Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Now, so over the weekend, the MPP's Super Delegates Congress to whittle the numbers of the presidential, that's the flag bearer hopefuls, down from 10 to 5. Well, guess what? It's just 4 who have gone through because the 5th position was a tie. And so, per the party's constitution and the arrangements that they have put in place for a situation like this, there would have to be another election to break the tie between Francis Adainimo and Boachi Chamante Jakom. Now, Francis Adainimo, one of the two, is with us in the studio tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Alfred, for having me.
Great. Just put a brief background to this man we have in the studio. This is not the first time he's gone at this dream of leading the flag, as the party as his flag bearer. Take a look at this. In 2014, now these were the persons. Number of delegates, 115,000. And then Francis Adainimo at the time polled 1,198. Remember that period as well, there was a special super delegates Congress.
Yes, that was the first experience
test of it
in the party.
There are some who have raised concerns about it that it could be an unfair approach to reducing the numbers, because then you are just selecting 961 out of over 220,000 delegates to determine who goes to the next stage. You
well, Alfred, and also to your viewers, the Constitution was amended in 2009 after the 2007 experience of having 17 aspirants. And then we went to the 2008 elections, and then the party lost. Then in 2009, I mean, there was a proposal to have some amendments to see if the number, if it goes beyond 5 aspirants or contestants. And that is why we have that in our constitution now. And the first time the party invoked that provision and applied it was in 2014. In 2014, there were 7 contestants, and I was one of them. And that was the first experience of going through the special college election. In fact, in the Constitution, it is described as special college elections to shortlist the number to 5. But now it has been termed to be super delegates. So it's just a question of terminology. So this is the second experience in the party, and I'm sure that 2014, 2023, these two experiences may guide us going forward into the future, whether the provision as it is now satisfies democratic principles.
But what's your view? Does this superdelegate structure satisfy democratic principles where you have 961 out of over 220,000 determining their dreams?
You know, there is a similar approach by the Conservative Party in UK. In the UK, Conservative Party, in seeking or looking or in searching for the leadership of the UK Conservative Party, there's a process. And they go through it from the 1922 Committee of Parliament of the Conservative Party.
That's right.
They will vote to shortlist their number. Then there will be a second round of voting to shortlist their number before two persons will be presented to the general electorate of the Conservative Party. And let me give you these examples for the purpose of our viewers.
Yes.
Quick one. When Boris Johnson resigned in 2022, the Conservative Party had an election which brought in Liz Truss.
Precisely.
Yes. The first round, Liz Truss secured, I think, the 4th or 5th position. Then the second round of voting,
she came
second to Rishi Sunak, who is now the Prime Minister. And then in the general election, Liz Truss won against
so
Rishi
you have
Sunak.
hope.
Of
So
course,
you are deriving some hope from
Liz
Truss.
Yes, of course. I
see.
mean, that is an experience which is there for us. And somebody can also argue that in our jurisdiction, as far as the party is concerned, we also have a precedent of what happened in 2014.
Now, so let's fast forward to 2023, this year. Now, this Superdelegates Congress, you polled 9 votes. 9. Yeah. Did that surprise you, or you think you did well?
Well, I mean, it surprised me. I was hoping to secure more votes than what I got. But that is election. And so it's a question of having the belief of getting something, and you don't get it. I mean, you can never predict the human being. And
like you can't predict the delegates.
Of course. I mean, they are human beings. And I don't want, usually people say delegates, fear delegates.
Fear delegates.
But they are human beings, so fear human beings.
No.
Not delegates.
So you're saying you fear the human beings who are delegates?
Yeah, I mean, you could also be a delegate of a political party, assuming you are a member of a political party.
I am not a delegate.
I'm just.
I'm only saying to you.
Well, Alfred, I mean, the whole thing is that who are the delegates? They are human beings.
So you fear human beings?
Of course, because human beings, there's an element of unpredictability. And so because of that, whatever you do, you allow a certain percentage of failure or betrayal. You cannot be 100% certain.
So you feel betrayed?
Well, I mean, if you were, in your estimation, you were looking for a certain number of votes and you didn't get it, I mean, one can describe it to be a betrayal. But that is why I'm saying that human beings are unpredictable. You and I, including you, including me.
Yeah.
Together, we are all unpredictable. Today, the mind goes this way to take a certain decision. By tomorrow, there's a new consideration that you could change your mind. And sometimes in elections, somebody is giving the ballot paper, and just at the screen of thumb printing, his mind will change. And you thumbprint for somebody else. How do you explain that?
Well, but what message did you go to these superdelegates with?
Personally?
Yes.
I have articulated the message of new face for the party.
New face?
Yes. New face for the
party.
party.
Why do you think the party needs a new face?
Well, the justification is based on historical facts.
Okay.
Between the NDC and the NPP since 1993, after 8 years of the party in government, the next general election, if the party picks somebody who has been part of the government, the party doesn't succeed. The first example is Professor Mills, the late Professor Mills.
Yes.
He was a sitting vice president to J.J. Rawlings. He became NDC candidate in 2000 election. NDC could not win. They could not break the 8.
Right.
Then in 2008, Nana Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo now, was a foreign minister in J. Kufuor's administration.
Yes.
He became MPP's candidate,
okay.
Presidential candidate. MPP could also not break the 8.
I see.
And then 2016, after 8 years of NDC in government, with John Mahama as a sitting president and a presidential candidate for NDC, he could also not break the 8.
So you are looking at the 8-year cycle,
yes.
not the fact that somebody who has been part of the government went ahead to win a subsequent election.
Yes, so, I mean, it tells you that after the 8 years, perhaps there's what we call facial fatigue.
Okay.
And so people may be looking for a new ways of doing it.
So for you, anybody who is contesting this flag bearership, who is a member of this administration, doesn't fit into your definition of the new face.
Yes, I mean, of course, that is my message to the party, and I have been very categorical. Not only that, there are other characteristics that I have outlined.
Okay, so
not just not being part of this government, but there are other characteristics which should go in considering who is the most suitable person. Because at the end of the day, we are looking for the most suitable person who will lead the party, for the party to go beyond 8 years in government, achieve 12 years, and achieve 16 years.
To break the 8.
Absolutely.
And you are saying that based on your historical analysis,
yes,
if, for instance, the party puts up Dr. Bawumia, based on your historical analysis, you will lose 2024.
I mean, it follows. It follows, and I have given all the the classic examples. And whether I'm wrong, you should be able to tell me, but I don't think viewers will know that what I'm saying is the fact. The fact is that it happened in 2000. It happened in 2000. Yes, it happened in 2008.
With Akufo-Addo,
it happened in 2016.
With John Mahama.
Yes.
And so you're saying that in 2024, if Dr. Bawumia, for instance, for the sake of this argument, is put up, history will not be on his side.
Yes, history may be repeated. History may be repeated. And I mean, I am just giving an input on what has happened so far, just to draw the attention of the MPP as a party or delegates to this fact. So why don't we go for a different direction and then see to it that we can overcome the situation and set a political record in Ghana as a first tradition to be in government for 12 years or 16 years.
But that's why Dr. Bawumia has chosen that thing that he says it is possible.
Well, I mean, we need to compare that and contrast with the historical facts.
Well, but you see, if the evidence of your vote, 9 votes, is anything to go by, is that to say that this message didn't resonate well with the voter profile of the superdelegates?
That's why I gave you an example of Liz Truss, how she became the UK Prime Minister.
But you had 9 votes.
Wait a moment. Similarly, Liz Truss, in the first vote of the 1922 committee in the UK Parliament of the Conservative Party, I think she came about 4th or 5th. Okay?
Yes.
And then there was a second round of votes. And she went to the second position before the third round, which had all the delegates of the Conservative Party voting.
To be honest, I wish it was really that straightforward and very simple to do that analogy with what happens in the UK. But you know that the nuances are different, right?
Well, I agree.
And you cannot say cast in stone. What happened in the UK will happen here.
Well,
plenty things happen.
Democracy.
But
it's all democracy.
Indeed.
And we learn. Okay, we learn.
Right.
Alfred, we learn. And we compare with other democracies what has happened in other democracies. I mean, we need to look for examples where such situations have also occurred. Yes, this is a special electoral college voting made up of about 950 or 960 delegates. If you compute in percentage terms with the total number of delegates expected to cast their vote to elect the flag bearer November 4th, that is significant. Though the composition of the special college is seen to be the top echelon of the party.
True.
It seemed to be the top echelon of the party.
That's the
yes.
president.
And this exercise that happened on Saturday, the objective is not to elect the flag bearer,
but to cut down the numbers.
Neither to predict who becomes the flag bearer. The objective is shortlisting. I mean, it's just to go for an interview, and there's a mechanism of reducing the numbers.
Okay, but
and then after that, you are giving out to the general delegates.
You have a lot of faith in Liz Truss and what happened to her, but you are now tied with Boakye Chamantejaku for that 5th position. Both of you had 9. There was earlier news of he stepping down for you. He's come out to say it's not true. He's going into the contest on Saturday with you. Are you stepping down for him?
Not at all.
Why?
I mean, but the rules are there. We are following the rules. Okay? We adopted the rules approved by the National Council of the party. And then the rules said, or the guidelines said that should there be a tie for the 5th position, then there shall be a runoff to determine who occupies that 5th position. Well, if the lawyers can also give an interpretation that if there is a tie, then one can describe it as 5A, 5B.
So the two of you would be made to go.
Well,
so you have 6 people going into November 4th.
I am just as a layman. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay.
I don't sit at the bench.
Indeed.
But I'm just giving a layman's interpretation that if that.
So this is the provision in the issues of the Electoral College, that's your party's guidelines, that in the event of 2, 3, or 4 contestants sharing the total results, with the remaining contestant not obtaining any vote, there will be a runoff, which is going to happen, as Professor Reverend Aaron Makokwe indicated.
September.
That's this coming Saturday. There are many who argue that, look, I mean, nothing dramatic would happen between, for instance, now and November 4, if any of the 2, that's you and Boakye even go through.
What is the basis of that argument?
Because it says you have 10 weeks, you've got 9 votes. Would you be able to? What are you going to do differently to pull through, to come and put up any surprise?
Well, Alfred, do you know what others may be doing behind the scenes in canvassing for votes within the over 200,000 delegates? And the requirement is that for the over 200,000 delegates, let's say close to 210,000 delegates who will elect the flag bearer, the requirement is that you need to secure a threshold of 50% plus 1.
True.
So if there are 200,000, then one needs to get 100,000 plus 1 vote to win, to become the flag bearer of the party. So from now to the time, you don't know what engagement others are also doing within. There are 275 constituencies in accordance with the Electoral Commission, but there are 276 constituencies in accordance with the party's structure.
How many of them have you visited so far?
I've visited quite a number of them, but I won't disclose to you on this program.
Great, it's your strategy. Yes. But there were some regrettable incidents on Saturday, which some of your colleagues have raised concerns about. Did you also have concerns about some issues on Saturday?
No, honestly, no. I mean, I was not at any polling station.
Did you have agents there?
Yes, there were 17 polling centers, and I had agents in all the 17 polling centers.
And so you don't have any showdown to show anybody?
Well, until I got to know that in Ashanti region, something happened where the regional youth organizer, after thumbprinting the ballot, showed it somehow publicly, and that was rejected because in the guidelines, we stated that if you do that, it's an offense, you forfeit your ballot, and you cannot be given a fresh ballot paper.
Well, some of the agents of Kennedy Japan, one of the 4 who have gone through, shared their ordeal on what happened on Saturday. Take a look.
Plain area, and I said, enclosed. Voting was initially planned for an open area, but took place in an enclosed space, the Nalergu SHS dining hall. Despite 28 people expected to vote, the crowd inside the hall exceeded the capacity. I came out and raised concerns and was subsequently attacked by the crowd of men. After being pushed to the ground, I managed to get up and flee.
Alarm, because semi-raising alarm no insider. It could be anything.
Oh, so that's Homo Said, who was an agent for Kennedy Japan as well. And then that other person who sustained some injuries, called, the pictures went viral with one eye almost closed to, you saw that?
No, and honestly, I need to be honest with viewers. I haven't seen what you are talking about. But of course, I got a report also from my agent,
your agent
in the Northeast region, that the youth organizer for the region of the party, also after casting or tampering his ballot, before putting it in the box, showed it.
Was that rejected?
And there was a reaction to, yes. That is what I cannot confirm, you know. And I'm sure maybe it's out of that ensued the kind of misunderstanding that occurred over there.
I see. And well, the party's election committee has also been talking. Alexander Penyomarking is a member of the committee. Take a look.
Any aspirant, any agent who would make it his own bona fide of waging war against the party will be sanctioned. By saying war against the party, I specifically mean that no member should make it a point to attack any member, alienated member, merely for disagreeing with a particular matter. We are inviting certain personalities to appear before us for engagement. We want to hear them. We have heard of certain allegations in the media. For the sake of the party's well-being, for the sake of the unity of the party, we have taken it upon ourselves to again say that all such individuals are to appear before us.
Strategy going into Saturday, now that we know that none of you stepping down. So there's going to be a contest on Saturday. What's the strategy going forward?
Well, the strategy is to get the votes.
To get the votes?
Yes.
More than 9 votes?
Well, it's the same electoral college size that is expected to.
And you are taking the same message to them, that the party needs a new face?
Well, I don't know how you are interpreting the outcome of Saturday's election. And I've told you, the objective of what we did, the exercise we carried out last Saturday, was for a shortlisting purpose, not for the election of a flag bearer, not for the prediction of who becomes a flag bearer. And that is why we only have a number less than 1,000 being delegates for this special college to vote. Okay. Beyond that, then one needs to go to once you have become part of the first 5, you now have to go to the large delegate size, which covers all the 276 constituencies in accordance with the MPP structure. That is where the votes are, and that is where we are going to harvest. So don't limit my message to the special college election delegates.
Your target is November 4.
Absolutely, because that is the ultimate. But you get to the ultimate after crossing the first hurdle. And this is the first hurdle.
So you're confident you're going to go through on Saturday to be the one, the number 5?
Alfred, why not?
Okay.
I mean, I went into the game, or I went into this contest with the mindset of winning. I'm not in the contest just to showcase myself. Absolutely. And I should be taken for that. And I mean it.
He means it.
Yes.
And the former member of parliament now wants to lead the party and the NPP as its flag bearer He says the party needs a new face, and that he represents that new face. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Alfred, also for having me, and good night.
Good night to you too. Francis Adainimo, together with Boache Jako, Saturday they have a contest. On behalf of the rest of the team, thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Join us same time tomorrow. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised. It's brought to you by
MTN Gluta White.
There's my girl.
At least until I know what you've decided.
Okay, look, I was hoping we forget about our little ultimatum.
Well, that little ultimatum is the only reason that I'm here. So choose. Ndim or Esther.
Zalega, you're not going to make me choose.
Why does it sound like you've already made a choice?
I'm not choosing.
Unbecoming of a married couple fornicating in their pajamas.
Do you want me to get dressed first then?
Kilonshie, your father may tolerate your sarcasm, but I will not. You will watch how you speak to me, young lady. Kilonshie.
Sorry, sir. We apologize.
What happened to you? What happened to that sweet Ayo that I remember?
She grew up.
You share joy.
This man and my mother would never steal from a charity, especially not one named after a dead child. I mean, that must be a mistake.
Oh, only time will tell. Suspension. Not to bring the party's name into further disrepute.
I'm telling you, you can't do that.
No, yes, I can.
You know what? It's fine. Let him do the investigation. You're innocent, right?
Huh? Wu Yanjie trying to maneuver his way back in.
I just think it's cute. He pretended to be someone else. No?
Well, as if I was a teen Millicent. This is classic psycho behavior. Oh, but you lie and keep secrets from me as well. So obviously, society didn't like.
Wow. I thought you forgave me for that.
I thought so too. But maybe not.
You know, friend, I'm not gonna keep apologizing, okay? My intentions were good.
Really? Yeah. If you were really sorry, Millicent, and a real friend, you would be begging me fair from that weirdo. It's one thing after another, no Simon. I get called normal.
Kota, everyone deserves love, even psychos.
Stop. Would I screw up even more? I'll handle it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.